Hi, everybody. Happy Monday. I hope you had a wonderful weekend. Today, we're going to be talking specifically about the operating expense portion of our budget model. But before that, I wanted to update you on this week's calendar. So, today at 1 p.m., Jacqueline is going to be teaching a class on everything you need to know about our new app, Kelly. Now, Kelly does so many things that you need to be involved with. So when it comes to interfacing with our clients, we can run what's called a snap for a neighborhood, a subdivision, a zip code, so many different things. So you can say, send me a snap for 85282 and it'll process, pop it up. You can send it to them so they can see what's active, what's pending, average days on market, makes you look like the neighborhood expert. On top of that, Zillow and Trulia have, I believe it's about 180 website or neighborhoods on their website. Our app has over 150,000. Night and day difference. Our technology is blowing it out of the water. Come learn about, that's just one piece of it. Come learn about the whole thing today with Jacqueline at 1. Tomorrow we've got Bold launching. Super, super excited. So Bold will be launching in Phoenix tomorrow and then Scottsdale on Wednesday. If you're not registered for First Step to Bold, click the links below so that way you can get up and running and have a seat saved for you on either Tuesday or Wednesday. Tuesday at 1, we're going to be talking about negotiating the deal. So if you're having issues either getting, either getting your contracts accepted or you're worried maybe about either the first time you're negotiating a contract or whatever the case is, come into class tomorrow at 1. And then Thursday at 1 p.m., Emily Duarte is going to be teaching us how to build a business plan. Now, you're going to walk out with a business plan. So you have to build one anyway. We're talking now to the business we do today shows up in January. So let the stars align and let Emily walk you through that path. If you don't know Emily Duarte, she and her business partner own a team here in the office that'll probably do, I'm going to guess 75 million this year. They know what they're talking about when it comes to business planning and setting up strategic things in place to achieve your goals. So come learn Thursday at 1. And then lastly, Friday, we've got our new agent classes in the morning, orientation at 9 a.m., and then SkySlope at 10 a.m., followed by free headshot day. So if you need a headshot, click the link below to register and get yourself a free new glamour shot. Let's talk about the budget model. So review, GCI, our gross commission, minus cost of sales, minus operating expenses gives us profit. So we talked about starting with profit. How much money do you need to make? Then we do our economic model to figure out, based off of that, how many units you need to do from a GCI perspective. The gap is where you get to spend on expenses. So we have our cost of sales, which is items related to the close of escrow, and operating expenses, which is everything else. So let's talk about everything else. If you have someone working for you in one way, shape, or form, like an admin or if you're paying a showing specialist, either hourly or per house or something like that, that would go in this salaries category. You could arguably put yourself in that category depending on how you're taking your salary. I wouldn't recommend it. So you can kind of compare apples to apples, pull that out at the end. But salaries would be what you pay people regularly, regardless of if it closes or not. That'd be cost of sales. Lead generation. Any dollar spent to procure a new business. Easy examples, if you have a Boomtown account here in the office, that $75 one where you get online internet leads, that would be in your lead generation expense. This could be postcards, it could be, if you're, heaven forbid, spending money on Zillow. This could be where you have pay-per-click for Facebook. This could be where you pay for your Mojo dialer or data or something like that. If it's used to help you procure a sale, lead generation category. Occupancy would be if you have an office here. Technology, supplies, equipment, I could argue those in a million different directions. I would say pick a lane and stick with it though. So for you, technology means like hardware, software, phone, computer, buying a phone, buying a computer, kind of the physical things. I put it in that category. Supplies could mean like stamps, envelopes, pens, name tags, things like that. And then equipment could mean like a new desk, or something like that. Or you can combine all these in one and just call it supply/equipment or whatever you want to. But they have 3 broken down here. Phone, whatever your phone bill is. Now keep in mind, if we're going to be comparing apples to apples and understanding how our business might look compared to somebody else's, and I don't mean from a judgy standpoint, but I mean an understanding, am I spending money in the right areas? These should all be business expenses. So if you're like me and you have an entire plan that encompasses a phone, you might choose to pull pieces out. Like if you're somebody who has their whole family on a phone, I don't have that big of a family, Layton's not calling yet, then you might have, you know, your wife has a line and your 3 kids have a line and you have an office line. Well, why don't you just pull out your office line here? Now for taxes, you'd still include it all together. But the MREA budget model teaches us where we're spending our money on our business, not what we can arguably write off for tax purposes. We went over supplies, education and dues. This could be if you're paying to have a MAPS coach, CE classes, your NAR dues, your armless access, lockbox, stuff like that. Bold before reimbursement, for example. And then lastly, auto insurance. Take this with the same grain of salt you would with your phone. You can write off a lot. But realistically, do you need to be driving a Bentley around to show homes? No. So you probably don't need to include that in this category here because that's not going to allow you to compare your business against somebody else's to see if you're making wise business decisions. Now, you might want a Bentley for your own personal life, and I love it. Drive it around and love it. But we won't include that here. What you're likely going to include is mostly insurance and perhaps like gas, oil changes, things like that that actually service the vehicle. That's what we're going to have here. So if you want, on page 157 of MREA, the very beautiful red book, it shows you suggested percentages for these categories. But what I would tell you is if you're putting profit first, then really what you have here is what's left. So if normally a budget model is geared towards 30%, then the book is going to show you how to spend that 30%. But if you've allocated 10% for operating expenses, you need to look at this and say, where am I going to spend 10%? Maybe you say, all right, I'm going to cut this category and that category. So I'm just going to put everything in kind of my technology/supplies category. For occupancy in the book, it suggests probably 1% or something like that. Maybe because you have a little small office, you're only at 0.025%. So that saves us some space there. My phone bill is low, so you're going to look at all this. You're going to say, maybe I don't have anyone working for me, no salaries. This should all add up, whatever you've got on here, to what you have left in that operating expenses category. I hope that makes sense. If not, I highly recommend coming to Emily's business planning class on Thursday because she's going to be going over with you a lot of the different models we use here at KW so that way you can start to build a business that's actually a business. Hope you guys have a great week, and I'll see you around. Have a good day. Bye-bye.